Okay, good day everyone, and welcome to another episode of Mom and Son Podcast.
This is Rose Fres Fausto, the mom, also known as FQ Mom.
And this is Anton Fausto, the son. So this episode, our title is Adulting, Transitioning from School to Work Life. Since last week, we talked about, Mama, your
Transitioning.
transition. Yes. Your transition from
Corporate
being
life.
a full-time investment banker in the
Yes.
finance world
Yeah.
to being a homemaker. So now we're gonna go to the son side naman, my side naman. We're gonna talk about the transition. Although I'm still in it. I'm still in the transition phase.
Yeah,
From
you graduated.
Yes,
in
last year.
May 2018.
the end of May. So it's been 9 months.
Yes.
It's already been 9 months. It's a baby's lifetime since I graduated, but I feel like the baby hasn't been born yet because it's still transition. Okay, first thing, since I'm the bunso, I'm the third of 3 kids. Ma, how did it feel like when you and Papa were finally done?
Yes.
You
So
finished our education.
it was such a big, it's not just a sigh of relief, but it was a great accomplishment for all of us. You know, it's really true, no? Among Filipino parents, ang pinakamalaking, anong tawag mo doon, dream is to be able to have all their children finish schooling. Kasi di ba nga sinasabi, even if you don't have anything to pass on to your children in terms of material inheritance, really the best is to be able to give them quality education.
That's right.
The best education that you think and you can afford as well. So that was such a huge accomplishment for Papa and me when you graduated. Kasi nung una, for the first son, parang, wow, may anak na akong bagong graduate.
Yeah.
And then with Enrique, okay, 2 down, 1 to go. And then ngayon, talagang fully accomplished. We could say na in that sense, we are fully accomplished parents already.
When did you feel because maybe baka it wasn't on graduation, in my graduation day mismo na you felt that, wow, we're really done. Was there like a moment that you and Papa felt na maybe it's when, because the 3 of us we're not home now or something like that. When was there like a specific moment where you felt that, wow, okay, we're really done na?
There's not really a one specific moment, but we would be getting glimpses of it. Kasi all of you guys you're such social animals. You would always be out on weekends already, di ba? Even while you were still in school. So we were having glimpses of that. But the graduation ceremony was, of course, parang we felt the milestone of it na, okay, we are done. Tapos na ang obligasyon sa anak. Parang ganong type.
Yeah. Okay, so that leads to the next point. So for you guys, when you guys graduated, you got a job after full-time job, also for Kuya Marty, also for Dikong. Now I'm gonna talk about how it's really been different for me, at least since
Yes.
my line of work is freelance, so it's I have time to do this podcast, for example. I don't have like
9 to 5 job.
I don't have a 9 to 5 job. I don't have an office that's out of the house. How was it when I decided to do this way different line of work? It's like a whole different world, a whole different game.
Yeah, it was both exciting and scary for us because all 4 of us, Papa, Mama, Martin, and Enrique, we after graduation, it was corporate life. It was something very structured for all of us. It's very old school, or it's very typical kasi mas marami pa rin yung ganon, 'di ba, than the freelancing. However, I have to walk the talk. No, I've always been preaching to parents out there to allow your children to really follow their calling. I'm now refusing to use the term passion kasi nga, di ba, passion, baka
It's
akala
so
lagi
uso now,
excited.
yeah.
No?
Passion.
It's more of following your calling and really honing your gift. And when I say that, even if it's a little bit scary for us because we were both, Papa and I were first-timers in this field na right away, sasabak mo yung sarili mo sa no structure and you are so in control that everything depends on your efforts and luck and everything else na hindi not easy to predict. But it's quite exciting kasi nga, and Papa and I were both confident that we could afford to cut your financial umbilical cord right after graduation, even without a steady job, so to speak.
Yeah,
Diba?
yeah. But then, okay, people have to, I guess, know that when when my parents would say that cut the financial umbilical cord, it's not like you don't pay for anything. I still live here at home. I feel like it's one of the
Yes.
reasons why I'm able to really boldly
Yeah.
chase this dream because I still live at home. I'm fed here, pa rin.
Yeah.
Those type of stuff.
Free board and lodging.
Yes, and I would talk to my friends. Syempre, I talk to my friends about how my career is or how their career is, and then they'd really always think that, wow, you're going, you're not doing what's typical. You're doing the hosting thing. You're still dancing, etc. But then it's really a struggle. Even if I've been here now, maybe not naman 9 months, maybe like 5 months. Because syempre, right after grad, I wasn't naman na parang looking for kagad opportunities like that. I still took those few months to really just relax, sometimes do nothing. But then until now, I still feel like I'm trying to figure out
Yeah.
what's
You're prototyping. Pa rin.
yeah, I'm still prototyping. And there's this term, I don't know if you've heard it before. It's called imposter syndrome.
Oh, yeah.
So I feel that every
Oh,
time
you
I
have to explain that to our...
imposter syndrome is when you're good at something, when you have like a talent or skill. Example, for me, it's I host a lot, and I feel like one day I'm just gonna be caught. One day, people are gonna find out that I'm actually not that good because
You're doubting yourself.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
you're doubting yourself.
I would think na parang, de, chamba lang yan na. Oh, I just got this one gig. Oh, I just got this one gig. Na it's not something that, it's chamba lang. That's the
Yeah.
whole imposter.
The imposter syndrome. Kasi that's an insecurity which is very usual in a lot of people, and sometimes you go through stages of experiencing that. Even if you're really good at it, you would doubt yourself.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a combination also of you wanting to keep the humility, and it's innate in every human to doubt. Di ba kasi nga, the danger is if you're not doubting yourself anymore.
Yeah.
The danger is in being too overconfident na. No? So yeah, and in fact, even at my age, there would still be some spurts of moments
Yeah.
oh, am I really this good? Especially if people now talk about you, oh, galing-galing mo, whatever, di ba?
Yeah. And everyone can see everything now, since
Oh, that's
we
right.
really
That's
share
right.
about our daily lives. And I feel like a big reason why this imposter syndrome thing is really looming over my head is because in the line of freelance, it's not like in school that there's a structured measurement of success.
Yes.
You have teachers telling you if you're doing good or not. You have graded tests, so there's a number you see talaga. But in freelance work, wala masyado because it's really just per project individually, and then it's just you sort of regulating yourself. I feel like that's the number one. Although it's great
Challenge.
that technically you're doing what you want. I have the freedom to really just, I don't want to do anything for this week. But I have that freedom. You have that freedom, but at the same time, that freedom is scary because that there's a temptation there. There's
To just lie around.
yeah, nothing's gonna happen if you don't do anything, and no one's gonna get mad at you for it. There's no boss.
There's no boss, but that is why we really feel that goal setting
Yeah.
and follow up is very important, especially if you're in the freelance world, because as you mentioned, there's really no boss, no regular assessment period, no probationary period
Yeah.
that are already built in to make sure that you are doing what you're supposed to be doing. So maybe you can tell them also about that goal setting. You're set to have one this month, right?
Goal set. Oh, more. It's more of like I call
parang presentation.
I call
What do you
it
call that?
career update.
Yeah. Career update.
Well, okay. So goal setting for example, we have that at the start of the year. That's really I lay out what I want to be doing. I feel like that's the first step before you go to the updating. You set first what you want to be
Yes.
doing, what you're putting your mind and time, and effort, all those stuff too. And then next you have this update because our style is that every month I would report to you guys, you and Papa, or sometimes
You are his
yung
board.
brothers. Yeah. So they're my bosses. Well,
Not really, parang the board of advisors. Yeah.
okay, yeah.
Board of advisors. Because it's still really your call, right?
Yeah. So I would update them on what I've been doing. So there's what I've been doing in the hosting aspect of my career, in the choreography aspect of my career, or in the different opportunities. Who from my idols or people I really look up to have I gotten the time to talk to or to shadow, and also very important what I'm going to do like in the next month, next couple of months.
Yes.
If there's this spot that I'm auditioning for, if there's this opportunity that I'm looking into where I can learn more, or it could be even a whole different thing. Like there's a time when I was really, I'm still thinking about it, of course. Since I'm doing the whole hosting choreography thing, I also looked into what if I go into finance? What if I,
Yes.
cause, of course, that's like a very possible, feasible, I guess, option for me is to go into the corporate world also. There's something,
Yeah.
I don't look at it as something wrong. I don't look at it as a failure naman that corporate na lang. It's really just another career option.
Yeah, so that's what we mentioned a while ago. Prototyping.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that?
Okay, so prototyping is where you look at the different
Options, no?
options or paths. I think is it the different paths you can take in your career. So for me, there would be what would be my career life if I was a host talaga.
Yes.
That's what I did. Will I go into showbiz? Will I get an agent? What kind of events will I be doing? Yada yada yada. Just for that, and then I go into another path. What if I become full-time dancer? Something like that. And then what teams will I have to join, or will I go for a team? Where am I going to look for opportunities? What classes will I take? And of course, there's another one, doing what I said, finance. What would be the steps I have to take? Where do I see myself? Something like that.
Yes. So it really is due to the idea that we really don't know, di ba?
Yeah.
What lies ahead. And if you said that when I grow up, I want to be a doctor, it doesn't mean that you're not going to change that anymore. And I think these days, people are now more open about that. More open about the idea that you really don't know.
Yeah.
Dati nga, I had this joke with Papa na, honey, I still don't know what to do when I grow up. I think these moments were coming in when I decided to be a homemaker, and then, syempre, I knew that you're gonna grow up. So, para bang someday, what will I do? What else will I do? So, I would say that line, I still don't know what to do when I grow up. Para nagloloka ako.
It's something I learned that the goals you set. Say, let's say I set a goal for this year. The next year it's completely different. That's actually okay, but it's a balance. It's a comforting fact. Yet at the same time, I don't wanna succumb to using it as an excuse to justify like my shortcomings. Let's say na,
Yeah.
oh, I really go to I don't know.
Bawal sa atin kasi ang palusot eh.
Yeah. Okay, let's make an example of I want to host this certain event.
Yes.
That's my goal, and then I don't reach it. One side you can say that, oh, I changed my goals. That's not what I value anymore. I'm doing this thing instead. But at the same time, you can say na parang, I didn't get it. Sige, I'll just say na I changed my goals. Like,
Yes. Oo. We don't like that, no?
Yeah, it's
Kasi we
really
like to
up to
own
you.
up to our shortcomings. Kasi if you don't, wala, you're not going to improve. Di ba? You can just say na, oh, I didn't get it because I wasn't good enough for it.
Yeah,
Yung mga
yeah.
ganon. We call that, di ba? Bawal ang palos.
Palos. Yeah.
Palos as in palusot. And also, it's important, di ba, when you mentioned a while ago that you have this regular quote-unquote presentation to your board of advisors. Kasi it also helps you go back to your encompassing, talaga, di ba? Dream.
Yeah.
And as we also said, even if there's an encompassing dream, you can go on with your life and tweak that eh.
Yeah, have your own different mini dreams.
Yes. In fact, I read a book that said na we should not be so, kumbaga, stuck with that.
Yeah.
With that, bawa, you said na, this is what I want to be. It's really a balancing thing eh. On the one hand, hindi ka man pwedeng palit ng palit. On the other hand, you cannot just say na, kasi sunk cost na eh. Halimbawa, if you decided to take up medicine, ang haba nun, di ba? Tapos sasabihin mo, sayang naman eh, pero actually, I want to write pala.
Yeah.
Ay, mga ganon type, no?
There's a difference with achieving a dream and achieving the dream. Like you can say that I guess for me, I could say that when I was high school, one of my dreams was to be like the next Keone Madrid. To be
Who's that?
For me, he's my opinion, is the best dancer in the world. I think he's Filipino. He's a dancer in the States.
Okay.
But a very amazing full-time dancer. I was thinking that was like the dream. Eh. Okay, I'm gonna really just dance. And then college, I fell in love with hosting, and then I also started radio. So, syempre, if I have those, my dream won't be that I'm just going. The dancing's the only thing I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
Syempre, it has to shift. But then you still have that dream. So when I said that there's a difference with achieving a dream and achieving the dream. There's a difference with achieving a dream of being the best full-time dancer there is, a choreographer, performer. But since I tweak it a bit, I still want to dance, but then I also really want to host. I really want to be a great host. I want to do events. I want to meet people through that avenue of performing, which is hosting. So it's still my dream. It's still the dream to make it successful through hosting, through dancing. But it's not anymore just dancing. That's not the only part of my dream anymore.
So what do you say should be the preparation of college students or even high school students who would really want to do something not structured, which usually scares parents?
I feel like that, but the number one thing that stops people from, chasing, quote unquote, chasing their passions would be ayaw kasi ng parents ko. So I feel I'm actually very privileged and fortunate that you and Papa support this, even if all of us actually were just kind of figuring out what I'm doing. Like there are days I'm like, what the heck am I doing? I'm at home, especially if there's like no event or anything. I'm at home and I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And I don't know where to look to tell me if I'm doing the right thing or not. Something like that. There has to be that communication. Again, I feel like so many of our topics go around this. There has to be that clear communication between the parent and the child.
Yeah.
There has to be that support that at the same time, parents should, you should still gotta be strict na.
Yeah, there's a support
dapat
in
dapat you're being productive with your time. Dapat meron kang ginagawa. May plano ka. But at the same time, you need to give them, I guess not even elbow room. It has to be arm's reach room.
Okay.
There has to be more room for mistakes, I guess, when it comes to the freelance life. Because it's more,
Which you didn't really have at school, no?
Yeah. In school, although I love Ateneo and I'm going to require my kids to go there. If you make a mistake, kitang-kita
Yes.
and you really...
And maybe because you also need that in the formative years of your life. Diba?
Yeah.
The structure.
And now that it's a different... I'm in a different, I guess, category of years.
And at the same time, you still also need a little bit of structure, which is what you're trying to self-impose, no?
Yeah.
Because, alam mo, especially for the free spirits there, sometimes too many choices is also a burden.
Yes.
Let me tell you
I
that.
can really feel that.
Yeah. Para bang, there's a myth din na having all the liberty, having all the choices will make life better for you. In fact, sometimes you really need someone to narrow down your choices for you.
Yeah.
And if you don't have that someone, you narrow them down while you are in your rational state of thinking. No?
Yeah. Don't go for something when you're super sad or when you're super happy, naman, super excited. Okay, so I guess the next point I would say is that you have to just... I think the most important thing when it comes to kahit entrepreneurs or freelance artists, when it comes to something that there's no like step-by-step concrete structure or ladder to getting success. You have to keep at it because it's the scariest part since I read and hear about all these stories that they kept failing, they were rejected so many times, and then they made it successful because you don't know if you're just there in the not yet you're in the
Stage.
not yet phase that you're about to reach the success. And it leads to my third point is to know. Kasi it's one thing na and then no one's actually gonna be ever to really say when to
Time
say
is up.
if kasi no one can tell din naman if you're no na talaga, if one person's no na talaga for you is actually not yet. Na you just probably haven't
Yes.
developed the right skills or met the right people, something like that. So it's you need that support from the people you're with a lot. So syempre, that's at home.
your family.
Your Philippines, your family. You need that support, and next you have to really just keep at it. Like me, na it's whatever event I can find or anything, basta I get to work on my
Yes.
craft. And then next is to just keep at it, kasi I can't. It's normal. Even with or without the Instagram and Facebook of life, to compare yourself. Syempre, I
Yes.
compare myself with my peers, with my
Yeah.
batchmates.
And it's not always negative,
Yeah.
especially if the way you're wired is you just need that some sort of an anchor na okay, if people this my age are doing this, pero too much comparison, basta wag kang pupunta siguro dun sa pagiging green monster in this.
Magkano na yung kita nila versus me, parang
Yeah,
ganun.
so you have to realize na kanya-kanyang pacing, kanya-kanyang stage.
Yeah, I read this thing that it's like a popcorn metaphor na when you cook popcorn, it's all all the popcorns in the same bowl under the same heat, but they don't pop ng sabay. Like everyone's gonna have their
Huwag ka lang yung maiwan
chance
dun sa
to.
corner.
Yeah, but that metaphor forgets that there are some seeds that
That will never pop.
that will never pop. Okay, so with this topic of how the three of us adulting na kami, we're all adults na. Our friends, well, Q Marty and Dikong's friends, their get-togethers are weddings na,
Yeah.
those type of that matanda na eh. It's not anymore. We're way done with the debut phase of life.
When tell them that when you're hosting debuts and then you
yeah,
realize,
when I
oh my
hosted
God,
it.
it's been so many years.
Yeah, or
the
I
prom.
hosted the prom recently, and when I asked them like what year they were born, 2000, 2002, 2003, I was like, wow. Ano na pala, nakakalakad na yung mga those who were born in this century. Anyway, how is it like with the empty nesting feeling? Because Dikon doesn't. Well, it's been a couple of years. Dikon doesn't live here on the weekdays because he works in Makati. How is that transition to? Do you feel like more of a need to get yourself busy with tasks to do and work to do? Because I feel like you guys are more out of the house nga now.
Oo, kasi wala nang little kids to take care of. Well, yes. I always say nga that there are phases in a person's life, diba? So, when I was done rearing you, it's again another phase for me. And when you reach midlife kasi, the phase now has to go beyond your immediate circle. So, what I'm trying to do now is also helping others beyond our inner circle, no. And at the same time, it's still an occupation for me. It's a source of livelihood still, and a source of accomplishment. I really suggest to all the people out there my age, you should not stop learning, and you should not stop being relevant.
Just because you're not working doesn't mean you have to stop having these aspects.
Yeah, so retirement should really be reinvented as you retire, as in the gulong, you retool yourself. So
I never thought of it that way. Is that where the word came from? Retire?
no.
Well, it's a nice.
Yeah, it's a nice play of that word, na retire. Kasi yung image na wala ka nang gagawin, to me that's boring. Wala ka nang gagawin.
And it's sad.
It is sad because I think the saddest life is to not be relevant anymore. Hindi lang yung wala kang pera o wala. It's really not being relevant anymore. And it also helps that Papa and I have a great relationship. So empty nesting is not so bad. Empty nesting, you can bring back the times na kilgacious pa kayo sa isa't isa.
And you can kind of do more stuff. That, although you're not...
But I miss you guys.
Yeah.
Obvious ba? Diba? Parang Papa would tease me na, ear-to-ear grin ang nanay when we're all complete for a meal because it happens very rarely.
Once a week na lang.
Once, twice a week na lang. So that's why you savor the moments that you're with your young children kahit na natuturete na kayo sa kanila.
Ever since from, I guess, Raising Pinoy Boys, Mama's first book, she's really been preaching about how it's important for your kids to have high FQ since if they know how to handle money, they can kind of pursue any type of career since it's gonna be since they know how to handle money. It's more of a question now on where is that money gonna come from compared to when the money's there, are they gonna be able to handle it well naman, make the right decisions?
Yes, and it's the confidence that it will bring parents. Di ba you said kanina nga na buti na lang we allowed you. Kasi alam mo, if parents get in the way na wag yan, kahit gustong-gusto ng anak or ang galing-galing na anak, isa lang naman yung dahilan nun eh. Because of the fear, nagugutumin yung anak. Na para
which comes from a place of care naman. Kasi syempre, you want your kids to be...
It comes from a fear.
Okay.
A point of view na, oh my God, ayokong magutom yung anak ko. So, maybe that will be a great discussion in our next episode.
Yes,
no?
that's right.
So for
Okay,
the
so
meantime,
thanks for tuning into this episode of Adulting.
Yeah.
The transition. And until now, and I don't know how long, I won't be surprised if I have this conversation again next year and I'm still, I'm still looking for who
Transition.
I am. Yeah.
Oh, but I think the most important thing there, Anton, is you also try to measure your improvement on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Diba? Kasi wala kang structure nun eh.
Yeah.
Okay, so once again, this has been Rose, the mom.
And Anton, the son. Tune in again next week for another episode of
Mom and Son Podcast.
For all your questions and comments, email us at antonfausto@gmail.com. Bye. Mom and Son Podcast airs every Tuesday at 7 a.m. or anytime at your convenience through Spotify, Buzzsprout, and Apple iTunes. Have your weekly dose of mother and son takes on family, finance, passions, and everything in between.